What's your first name?
In our bed.
What time did you guys go to bed?
9:30.
9:30? Okay.
9:45.
And then what alerted you to him today, right now?
When I just woke up, when I sleep with my kids, I wake up and I go back in my own bed. Mm-hmm. I just crawled over on his side.
And he was laying in bed? Okay.
He was on his back on the bed, and
Okay. And you said he was on his back? Okay. Where are your children now?
to sleep in that room. 2 are awake with their ear to the door. I don't want them to come out. Please somebody come out.
Where are the other kids?
That woman you just watched standing in the doorway, watching paramedics work on her husband on the floor, hands pressed against the door frame, completely still. That is Kouri Richins. And the man on the floor is Eric, her husband of 13 years, the father of her 3 young sons. She told the 911 dispatcher she had no idea what had happened to him. She said she woke up and he was not breathing. She was devastated. She was confused. She did not understand. 6 months later she published a children's book about losing a parent, dedicated to her 3 sons, about their father, the man she had poisoned with fentanyl, 5 times the amount needed to kill a person, in a drink she made with her own hands, in their kitchen, while their children slept down the hall. This is the story of Kouri Richins, and I want to tell you up front, by the time we get to the end of this video, the detail that is going to stay with you is not the poison. It is not the body cam footage. It is not even the book. It is what her own sons said about her in open court, in front of a judge, in front of cameras, with her sitting right there listening to every word. Before we talk about what she did, I need you to understand who he was. Because the details of this crime are so strange and so calculated that it is easy to lose the person at the center of it. So let us take a moment. Eric Richins was 39 years old. He lived in Commas, Utah, just outside of Park City, one of those places that looks exactly like what people mean when they say the American dream. Clean streets, big houses, kids riding bikes on the sidewalk. Nothing about this place was supposed to produce a story like this one. Eric was a businessman, a developer, someone who had built a career from scratch and was proud of it. But the people who knew him never led with any of that when they talked about him. They talked about his boys. He coached their soccer team. After he died, his team still broke the huddle the same way they always had. 1, 2, 3. Eric. His friends described him as someone who showed up for everyone. Always. The kind of man who would drop what he was doing to help a neighbor move furniture at 9 at night. His family described him as the center of everything they had built together. He had no history of drug use, no health conditions, no reason whatsoever for what the medical examiner found in his blood. Because behind the soccer games and the backyard barbecues and the school runs, the marriage Eric thought he was in was not the marriage that actually existed. By early 2022, the Richins marriage was quietly falling apart at the foundation. Kouri had accumulated nearly $2 million in debt, most of it hidden from Eric completely. Real estate deals that had gone wrong. Financial decisions she had made without telling him. Money that had disappeared in ways she could not easily explain. Eric had started asking questions she did not have clean answers for. She had also been conducting an affair with her former boyfriend, a man named Robert Grossman. In private messages recovered by investigators after her arrest, Kouri had written to him directly. She said to him, "If he could just go away and you could just be here, life would be so perfect." She was not talking about a separation. She was not talking about a divorce. The debt alone made a divorce financially catastrophic for her, so she made a different calculation entirely. On Valentine's Day 2022, Kouri made her first attempt. Eric became violently ill that evening. So sick that the family became alarmed. He survived. Kouri did not take that as a sign to stop. She went back to her source and asked for something that would not leave room for error. 17 days after Valentine's Day she tried again. This time she made absolutely certain. March 4th, 2022. Just after 3 in the morning, Kouri Richins called 911. She was crying, panicked. She told the dispatcher that Eric was not breathing, that he was cold, that she did not know what had happened to him. She said she had woken up and found him that way. She said she needed help
Your first name?
immediately. But prosecutors would point to something during the trial that never had a clean explanation. Phone records showed that Kouri first picked up her phone at 3:06 in the morning. She did not call 911 until 3:21. 15 minutes passed between when she first reached for her phone and when she called for help. Watch her in that doorway. Really watch her. Her hands are pressed against the doorframe on either side of her body. She is not on the floor. She is not screaming. She is not trying to get to him. She is standing still, watching. The prosecution said that stance told them everything. That is not a wife watching her husband die and not understanding why. That is a woman watching the plan she put in motion reach its conclusion. The autopsy confirmed it. Eric Richins died from acute fentanyl intoxication. The level of fentanyl in his blood was approximately 5 times the dosage required to kill a person. It had been placed in a Moscow Mule cocktail that Kouri had made for him that night in their kitchen, while investigators spent a year quietly building their case against Kouri Richins. She was not grieving privately. She was not keeping a low profile. She was writing. In 2022, Kouri self-published a children's book called Are You With Me? A book specifically about losing a parent, illustrated with imagery designed to comfort young children through death. She dedicated it to her 3 sons. She used their grief as the subject matter. She did media appearances to promote it. She talked publicly about the importance of helping children process loss. She presented herself exactly as a devastated widow doing something meaningful with her pain. Pause. 2 seconds. In May 2023, 14 months after Eric died, investigators arrested Kouri Richins. They charged her with aggravated murder and 3 counts of possession of a controlled substance with intent to distribute. The book was already published. It was already on sale. Her sons had already been photographed with it. The man the book was about had been poisoned by the woman who wrote it. And she had done the media tour anyway. But nothing in this case, not the poison, not the book, not even the body cam, prepared the courtroom for what happened at sentencing when her own children spoke. The jury deliberated for just under 3 hours. They came back with guilty verdicts on all counts. When the foreman read the first count aloud, Kouri Richins bowed her head and did not read in his ruling, a person convicted of those things is simply too dangerous to ever be free. But the moment that I cannot stop thinking about, the moment I think about whenever I think about this case, did not come from the judge. It came from 3 boys who no longer have a father. At the sentencing hearing, statements written by Kouri and Eric's 3 sons were read aloud in open court, with their mother sitting right there in front of them. Each statement said the same thing. At the sentencing hearing, statements written by Kouri and Eric's 3 sons were read aloud in open court, with their mother sitting right there in front of them. Each statement said the same thing. Their middle child wrote, "You took away everything from me and my brothers. I will not feel safe if you are ever out." Their middle child wrote, "You took away everything from me and my brothers. I will not feel safe if you are ever out." I have covered a lot of cases. And I want to tell you honestly, the grief book does not shock me the most. What shocks me most is the patience of it. The calculation involved in trying once on Valentine's Day, watching it fail, and then going back and making sure it would not fail again. That is not a crime of anger or desperation. That is a decision made in complete cold blood. By someone who looked at her husband and her children and the life they had built, and decided that none of it was worth more than the debt she was hiding. Drop your thoughts in the comments. The grief book, do you think she planned that from the beginning? Or was that something she convinced herself was for the boys? I read every single comment. I want to know what you think. If you want more cases like this one, subscribe. New case every single week. And the next one is one I have been sitting on for a while. You do not want to miss it.